When Greg came into the hospital in 1977, his memory seemed to stop at about 1970, so he was then 7 years behind the times. And of course, when another 14 years passed, by the time we'd got to 91, he was 21 years behind the times. Although his ardent love for the Grateful Dead continued, and he was always playing their records, singing their songs. In 91, although not exactly a Deadhead myself, I met Mickey Hart, who was one of the great drummers with the Grateful Dead. I met him because we both gave testimony to Congress about the power of music, the therapeutic power of music. He invited me to come along to a Grateful Dead concert. Now, I had never been to such a thing in my life. I'm a Bach and Mozart man, but hell, why not? I'd been invited, and in fact I was given a seat behind the Grateful Dead on the stage, and their rhythm and the beat got to me, as it got to everyone else there, and I, to my own amazement and the amazement of my friends, actually got up and started dancing on the stage. And I also saw how, I don't know how many people there were there, 10 or 15,000 people. Everyone was moving with the music. And so I was completely transported. So then I thought, we have to get Greg to a Grateful Dead concert. This was on, I think, something like September the 14th of 91, and having felt the effect even on my own sort of classical self, I was doubly determined to see the effect on Greg. And on September the 17th, 1991, we took Greg to a Grateful Dead concert at Madison Square Garden. He accompanied them with a huge voice and with enormous enthusiasm, and one would not have thought for a moment that there was anything wrong with him then. You know, he certainly, he was completely with it and knew all the songs. Where the Grateful Dead did some of their later songs, Greg was very puzzled. He didn't recognize any of the songs, although he recognized their style. And he said in a mystified way, this is like the stuff the Grateful Dead might write someday. It's like the music of the future. On the way back from the concert, I kept playing CDs of the Grateful Dead to keep the mood and to sort of keep them in Greg's mind. And at the end, when I said goodbye to him, he said it'd been a wonderful evening. He'd never forget it. The next morning I visited him and I asked him about the Grateful Dead. He said, never been to the garden. After this, and seeing his tremendous reaction at the concert, we used Grateful Dead songs above all to elicit memories and emotions associated with the songs, memories and emotions to which he otherwise had no access.